Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 16th episode of Immigration Buzz by Adnan and Shariq. Myself, Hassan Shariq from Toronto, and my colleague Adnan from Calgary. We welcome you into yet another episode of our weekly live show. This time around, we've changed the day and time. We thought we'll experiment this that probably more and more people can be part of the live session. This time might suit, but we'll give it a try and we'll see if there is feedback coming in from you folks. We're still open to adjusting, but let's see how it goes. So, as the normal format is, wherein we will first talk about a Canadian immigration stream, and we have last few, I think about 3 to 4 sessions, we haven't really talked about any stream as such. We focus more on certain other things like the police certificates and other requirements, but we are going to resume with the provincial nomination program, which is one of Adnan's favorite, and he had kept it for the for the end. So we're going to talk about the Manitoba provincial nomination program today. We'll have a quick 10 to 12 minute discussion on that, and then at the end, we'll be happy to take the questions and comments that are there. So with that, I'll hand it over to Adnan. Adnan, how are you doing?
I'm fine, pretty late at night, but not as late as you are. Like it's 1 a.m. in Toronto and 11 p.m. in Calgary, but this is a new time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys are seeing us a little bit tired, but I think this is in best interest of the community at large. So we came here to share our knowledge and experience with you guys to help you out on this particular province, which a lot of people talk about it, and it's very interesting program as well. So what we'll do as usual, we will jump into the details first, and after giving some information, we will take your questions and answers. All right, so this is the Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, MPNP, or the other name we call it. So let's jump into it. But before we do that, I think there is an important announcement which happened on November 23rd, which we would like to start with, and which is actually that the immigration consultants of our Canada Regulatory Council for Immigration Consultant is now being changed to CICC. So this is the new name, which is College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants. So we are now working under CICC, not ICCRC anymore. Of course, we will talk about what actually changed in the structure and what are the new requirements in any of our new session. But I think it was important as we have not done show since this date, so we thought it's good idea to bring in picture with you guys as well for your knowledge, so that you are aware about your consultants and what changes have been happened over the last approximately 10 days.
Yeah.
All right. So as usual, this is one of my favorite slide to start with. I always want to show on the map where actually Manitoba is. So if you can see this golden arrow here, you can see Manitoba is pretty huge in area, and it's just in the middle of Canada. So yeah, it's here. We also consider it as a prairie land here, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. But yeah, it's pretty in the center. I hope you will now remember which province where it is located, and now we are going to talk about it. All right, let's even go to next slide. So this is more on the statistics, also an important one, and I always like to do a little bit more research to show you what benefits this particular province has compared to the other. So this particular one, if you can see again the golden arrow, which you can see the unemployment here is at 5.6%, which is I have the records till September 2021, and this has been taken from StatCan website. So it's pretty like up to date most of the time. So 5.6% is the unemployment, which is below the national unemployment rate of Canada, which is 6.9%. So it's a good province from job point of view. So this is a good thing compared to that province. This is the lowest other than new West territories, but this is pretty like on a good safe side. All right. So let's go to the next one. So here we are. In particular, we have three main streams in Manitoba immigration categories. So first one is the skilled worker stream. The second is international education stream, and the third one is business investor stream. Now, each of these streams, they have their own programs in between that. We will talk about it, but the broader one are the three here. We will talk about the first two, the skilled worker stream and the international education stream, but we are not going to touch on the business investor stream because this is a topic all by it itself and it's going to take a lot of time. So we will leave it for some other time to talk about the business investor stream. But let's jump into the first one, which is the skilled worker stream. So here, the skilled worker stream is further divided into two categories. The first program is called Skilled Workers in Manitoba, and the second program is Skilled Worker Overseas. So these are the two major programs which actually fall into skilled worker stream. So just consider it's a branches of this stream here. I just what I did here again is to consolidate all the information for these programs on one particular slide. It's a very difficult work to do, but it gives a very quick idea if someone is doing a assessment, quick assessment, so they can look into it and see whether they can qualify in this particular province or not. So if you look at it, express entry profile is not needed for skilled workers in Manitoba, but for the overseas category, you need to have your express entry profile in place before you are applying into this particular province. Connection to the province is required in both cases. Now, connection, it means it could be due to the job offer, it could be due to the education which you have completed in Manitoba, it could be due to the relatives which you have or friends in Canada, in Manitoba. Sorry. So this actually meant connection here. So yeah, it is needed for both of these streams. Job offer required for skilled workers in Manitoba, and in skilled worker overseas, I put current yes. And the reason is I will let you know why later. Otherwise, there is not, by book, it's not required. Like, do you have a job offer? It's not required. But nowadays, or the current draws which are happening, they do want to have this offer in place. So that's why I put current here. Okay. Language proficiency pretty straightforward. It varies from one NOC to the other NOC. So that is already there. Level of education for both of these streams are post-secondary program, at least minimum. Work experience, yes, minimum 6 months of work experience in occupation in demand list. So again, this is must here in skilled workers in Manitoba, but currently this is also going on. This condition is valid in this particular stream as well. Okay, age minimum 18 years, they have defined it. And next is income settlement fund. Yes, LICO for 6 months. So now LICO is different than the settlement funds, which we have talked about in one of our episode. LICO is a different thing which we can cover in some other program, but it's of course it's different than the settlement funds. So you need to have 6 months of your expenses to remain in Canada in place when you are applying for these particular two streams. Okay, now I will talk about connection to the province in this particular situation. What does this yes mean here? And I would like to touch base on adaptability. So, what actually it means is that you need to demonstrate the ability and intent to become economically established and reside in Manitoba and have the confirmed support from your close friend member or a family member who are already in Manitoba for last 1 year. So this is what the point you are going to consider as a connection, and you will get point system here, or hold a invitation to apply issued by MPNP. Now, this particular line is hold a valid invitation. This is the Manitoba Strategic Initiative, they call it, in which you get a job offer from the Manitoba employer. Anyhow, this is too much detail, but just to let you know that these particular two programs work on a point scoring system. There is 100 points, and you need to score 60 minimum to qualify under MPNP. So that is an important point to mention here. I will also give you at the end about the strategic initiative idea, how it works and how it's going to happen there. Let's move to the next slide. Now I'm going to the next stream. If you have seen the first slide here, international education stream. So this one I covered, I mentioned about the two programs already in place. Now I'm going into the second one, which is the international education stream. Now in under this particular category, there are three programs right now active. So I'm gonna walk you through to these three particular programs. Okay. So the first one is career employment pathway. So again, this is a very consolidated, list of what conditions need to be met for the career employment pathway. You need to be graduated in past 3 years from a designated or post-secondary institution in Manitoba. Now, this is an important stuff here. It cannot be from any other province. It has to be from Manitoba to qualify. Language requirements is CLB 7, which is pretty average on IELTS band 6. Current employment in Canada must have a full-time job offer. Now, this is a must-have. This is one condition, and the second is the current employer, and this employer also should be in Manitoba. It cannot be from any other province. So these are the two important like conditions under this. Settlement funds, yes, you need to demonstrate the settlement funds, but if you and also you should be employed on a long-term position in Manitoba. Like you have to show your settlement proof of funds in this particular category as well. Again, there is some adaptability points, but just to let you know, this is particularly valid for people who actually came in Manitoba, they completed their studies, and then they found a job. So it is a pretty quick, straightforward way for them to apply for permanent residency here. So this is the first program, Career Employment Pathway. Next is the Graduate Internship Pathway. So this is also very interesting program, which is here in MPNP. But this is again, condition varies from one program to another program. The first one was any 3 years past qualification from Manitoba University. Now this one is a master's or doctoral degree program completed in Manitoba. So this is for the usually basically on the higher side of education for the students who complete in Manitoba. Language requirements are same as compared to previous and current employment. If you have completed a master or doctoral program in Manitoba with a completed MITEX, Elevate, or Accelerate internship. So these are two programs. If you guys go on Google and just see MITEX Elevate, so you will find out all the information about how you can get an internship through this particular system here. So this is very famous, but I'm not sure like how many people they know about it. Maybe we can speak about it some other day, like how this program actually works. But this is one of the requirements in MPNP that you need to have internship completed through MITEX or the other employer as well in Manitoba. Okay, so this is the one. Either one of it should be valid. Okay, the next one is settlement funds. Again, yes, it required, but they are talking about LICO, low income cutoff requirements. You need to show that you have almost 6 months period of amount available in your bank account to show that you can sustain in Manitoba with this amount with this period. Or in this conditions, it will valid. You must be employed in a full-time, long-term position in Manitoba. So this condition also need to be met. Usually, what we have seen, the students which actually complete their education in any Manitoba institute, usually they get jobs fairly quickly because the population is less. We saw the unemployment percentage also is low. It is below the Canadian national average. So getting a job after completing your education in Manitoba is actually the chances are fairly high. So this is one of the good choice for students if they pick Manitoba for their future studies. Adaptability again, the same thing. You need to show some kind of stuff here on the adaptability, either through a job offer, either through your friends, either to your family relatives. Uh, so it's important. One thing you will notice overall in Manitoba PNP program that they get a lot of weightage for your already connections which you have in Manitoba. Either could be through friend, either could be through family, relative. They always give weightage for that. One more interesting thing to notice in Manitoba: this was the first province who started the PNP program in 1998. So this is from all the PNP started. So this is the father of all PNP you are seeing.
This
They
is
started,
this is new
and
information for me, Adnan.
yeah, because I like to read and do research about PNPs, and this was very interesting for me also that they were the first one who started the PNP in 1998, and so far they have invited thousands of people in Manitoba, and the other province actually they followed their footsteps and they started their own PNPs as well. One also very important thing is which is only unique in Manitoba, they have their provincial nominee programs, but they have also community-driven
Yeah,
programs, which is through I think it's more modern, modern. I think modern somewhere. The community name is.
yeah,
They have their own community-driven program,
yeah,
not only province. So the community-driven program, which is very unique. So
yeah.
now. Also, this community-driven program is becoming very famous, and the other provinces they are studying this particularly how they can make it effective to increase their population in certain communities which are low on the population side. All right, so let's move to the next slide. This is the last program under international education stream, which is the student entrepreneur pathway. Mostly, this is for the people who actually are interested in starting their businesses after completing their education. And this is, of course, little bit more tedious route, but of course, there are students who have these skills already in them to start a new business. So they have also a designated stream available in which they can proceed their permanent residency in Manitoba. So I will not go in details. It's a lot of stuff already mentioned on the conditions. Maybe you guys can read on it, like pause the video later on and see what are the requirements here. So the good thing about this particular slide is like there is a lot of scattered information, even on the Manitoba PNP official website, and there is a lot of other articles and journals I was reading like overall through the website. So this is the consolidated info you can get it, which gives you a quick idea about what this program is about. Okay, this is I think it's going to be my second last or last slide, and what I actually want to show here is that Manitoba is still like doing the draws on regular basis. So the latest one happened just yesterday, hours yesterday, because I'm today at December 3rd. Hassan is in on December 4th, but this happened just on December 2nd, and they have actually invited people from skilled worker category, from international education stream, and the overseas category also. Like they have introduced a lot of numbers now. Interesting thing which I want to talk about is I would like to draw it here that under skilled worker overseas, because I know a lot of people will get interested that also they are selecting people from outside Canada. So yes, they are selecting people from outside Canada, but they are sending invite only through under their strategic recruitment
Recruitment
initiative.
initiative. Yeah,
Now this particular thing, strategic recruitment initiative, is unique. It has its own program which they follow. What they usually do, maybe Hassan can touch like based on that. But it's a detailed process, and they select like the Manitoba employers. They partner with the provincial body, and they recruit the potential candidates from overseas, and then they
yeah,
give them the nomination. And this is how it works. Now the good thing is MPNP official body actually go on a visits, or they arrange a session, seminars, like they're like a job fair, and they get the interviews for the potential people there, and they select them, and then later on they send them either the explanatory visit option, or they just hire them and provide them the nomination. It depends. Like there's a lot of like ways how they do it, but they are being selected to the strategic recruitment initiative. So the why I want to point out is like the normal skilled worker overseas draws are not happening.
Yeah.
This is only one of the niche they are just looking into right now, maybe due to COVID and other stuff. But yes, the draws are still happening. The PNPs is going on, and everything is fine on that end. What I will do, Hassan, just quickly to update our audience on the strategic initiative thing, I would bring one of my slide here. So now this is the official immigration Manitoba website. This is the detail where you can see the strategic initiative announcement they made. So in this, in this particular one, you can follow what is happening on the recruitment side. When the Manitoba is going to look for the tech talent, for example, they mentioned they did something in like last year, 2019. They're going to do something like maybe soon. You can get more information here. So this is the page which they actually announce their things here, if they are going for a sessions or going for a job fair. But overall, how they're working is the Manitoba employers get in touch with the uh, provincial body of Manitoba, and they go hand in hand to go and hire the people through this strategic initiative program. So this was just an idea to give you guys like how this program actually works. I think this was my last slide. So Hassan, I will hand over to you. I know I have spoke a lot, like for last maybe 20 minutes. So I will pass it to you to if you want to add anything, if I miss something, or we can jump into some question answers if you like. I will leave it to you.
Yeah, thank you. Not very comprehensively covered. Not much to add. Just a few things briefly. Number one, this particular province, like Saskatchewan, like Ontario, has been active in inviting people, even all throughout COVID, and they do it. Like they have a way where they do it pretty regularly, probably every month that they are doing a draw, but very important because this is something that I've seen a lot, where a lot of people, sometimes people who have been scammed by this particular stream, the Manitoba Skilled Immigrant Overseas Stream, with the phrase overseas. So it's not that they've not invited people in the past, or they might not do it in the future, but right now it seems that they're only for, and this is probably because of COVID, that they're only doing it for people who have an offer, as Adnan mentioned, through the strategic recruitment process. And strategic recruitment process, I know they do a lot of their sessions in Middle East. They've actually done a lot of sessions in Nigeria, Philippines. So that's a possibility for people. Like if you have the skill set and you're in these countries, definitely you could be offered one of those programs. So just wanted to sort of add that. And one thing that I'll add, that with the explanation that Adnan has provided, one takeaway that can be is that if you're somebody who's looking to study in Canada, and you are doing your calculation, maybe you're not in a very safe position in terms of your age and all that, this is a great province to consider, because they have those streams which are specific to their own graduates. So once you graduate, then their PNPs are pretty much going to their own graduates, and not to anybody else, like a very small percentage going in. So that's the second takeaway that probably I'll share. I think, Adnan, we have a few questions and comments here and there, so we can sort of move on to that. So we'll start off. There's Faisal is saying salam, and mentioning that yes, it's morning in Pakistan. We know that, Faisal. This was one of the reasons that we thought that a lot of our viewership and even clientele is from South Asia and Middle East. So we thought that this might suit people over there. It's a day off. It's a morning time, but you never know. We were discussing that maybe people don't wake up all that early on that day, or they're going out for summer. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for the session on Manitoba. Perfect. Faiz has said a hi and a hello. Nothing after that. So I return your greetings, Faiz. If there is a question, please post that, and would love to answer that. Then we have Saima saying it's an informative program. Thanks a lot. Faisal is asking about the explorative visit. Now that's not really relevant to this, Faisal. That's more to do with the business stream that is there. So probably
Um, I think Hassan, he is pointing at the strategic initiative program, because
recruitment.
sometimes what
Yeah,
happened,
yeah,
it depends from employer, it depends from Manitoba provincial body as well. This was before COVID, which I remember. They do ask people to come for an explanatory visit that time. Uh,
okay,
as per my knowledge, it's not happening recently, but it was something which we have seen a year ago. I think more than a year ago now. COVID has been here for last 2 years. So yeah, this was something 2 years ago, which I know, like they were coming for explanatory visit, and also the community-driven program, which I mentioned. Modern, again, I'm pronouncing the name wrong, maybe, but this was something starting with M. They were the one who actually were asking for the
yeah,
potential
the
candidates for an explanatory visit that time.
explanatory. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct, correct. Yeah,
So, but again, haven't heard anything recently on the explanatory visits, because of COVID, might be, or maybe they are not like looking into like bringing more immigrants at this point of time.
yeah, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Um, Next up, which probably might be it's a very different topic that's being asked. Hi, and how many did IRCC will approve minor student visa? This is not relevant to this, and the average processing time, you can just go online on the IRCC website and see over there. There is no fixed time that somebody can say that. I personally know SDS applications which are supposed to be done in 20 days, 20 working days, but they've taken months and months. Adnan is a better expert at study permit applications. So Adnan, what's the
So
average right now?
timeline is very like it's different for every country of
Yeah,
citizenship. Like the best guess which someone can do is, of course, one is to check on IRCC website by selecting the particular country, and they will give you the tentative timeline, how long the application is gonna take. But usually, because it's a minor application, now there is so many contingent things which we need to look into. Was this minor was just like an alone minor, or there was some accompany member with it? If he is less than 18 years, or maybe he was accompanying some of the parent who is coming for a study permit. So there is a lot of like if and conditions which are not mentioned here. So it's very difficult to just give a vague answer on it. But I think the good check you can do is by visiting on IRCC website. Just go and check timeline for your country of citizenship. Just enter there and see this, and enter this particular stream of temporary resident visa study permit option, and see how many days it is giving the timeline.
yeah, yeah. Because um, in a certain capacity, having seen applications from different places. So right now for Africa, it's 3 to 4 months is a very common thing, no matter what kind of application it is. Even countries which are generally not considered all that high visa risk, like Singapore, Malaysia, even I've seen close to 2 months on an average. For a lot of South Asia, Middle East, normal applications are again a few months, and in some good cases, maybe a month and a half or something like that. So yeah, so I think that's the last question that we had. So probably we can wind it up. We're very close to about 30 minutes mark. Um, Once again, this is a change of time, change of day. We will love to have your feedback on that, and we're happy to um, change the date and time based on how our viewership feels better. And for the topic, if you have further questions or um, I do see. Okay, it's just a thanks. I thought there was a question. So, with regard to this particular topic, or for any other question or query that you have, feel free to share that. One thing that I like to excuse me, mention over here, that we have specifically for applicants who are from Pakistan, because Adnan and myself, we both belong from Pakistan. We do clientele from all around the world, so everybody's welcome to post questions over here. But we have created a Facebook group, which is Canadian Immigration Pakistan Forum, wherein we are going to provide generic information, not case specific information, please keep that in mind, but generic information about Canadian immigration specific to Pakistan. So all of you who are on these platforms and watch us, do consider joining Canadian Immigration Pakistan Forum on Facebook. That's the Facebook group, and we'll be happy to answer the Pakistan specific queries and provide information like that. So with that, I'll ask for leave. Stay well wherever you are. Take very good care of your families. And in a week's time, we'll be back with another video on Canadian immigration. And before we leave, as usual, we'll leave you with a short video.